Chapter 1. The Awakening. Why Most People Stay Broke. Have you ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and thought, where did it all go? You worked hard, put in the hours, maybe even sacrificed weekends. And yet the balance staring back at you doesn't reflect your effort. For many people, this cycle repeats month after month, year after year. It's a financial hamster wheel, and sadly, most never get off it. But let me tell you something up front. Staying broke isn't about laziness, and it's not about intelligence. It's about awareness. Most people never awaken to the invisible patterns controlling their financial lives. They sleepwalk through years of earning, spending, and surviving without realizing that wealth isn't just for the lucky few. It's for anyone willing to design it with intention. Pause and ask yourself for a moment. Am I living by design or by default? This chapter is your wake-up call. By the time you finish it, you'll see that the difference between the broke majority and the wealthy minority doesn't start with the size of your paycheck, it starts with your mindset. The comfort trap. Most people stay broke because they confuse comfort with progress. Getting that stable paycheck feels safe. Buying the latest phone feels rewarding. But what's really happening? Every time you trade long-term wealth for short-term comfort, you deepen the trap. Think about it. If you earn $3,000 a month but spend $2,950, you're technically surviving. But are you free? Not at all. You're one unexpected bill, one emergency, or one job loss away from chaos. Comfort has lulled you into thinking you're okay, while silently chaining you to financial fragility. Wealthy people see comfort differently. They know true comfort comes from security, options, and control, not from buying something new today. The hidden scripts. We inherit money beliefs are rarely formed consciously. If you grew up hearing, "We can't afford that," or "money doesn't grow on trees," chances are you absorbed financial fear without realizing it. These scripts play in the background of your adult life, shaping every choice you make. The broke majority keeps repeating these scripts unconsciously. The wealthy minority questions them, rewrites them, and replaces fear with strategy. Pause and ask yourself, what money beliefs did I inherit from my family? And do they serve me or limit me? Why hard work isn't enough. This might surprise you. Working harder doesn't guarantee you'll become rich. If effort alone determined wealth, the hardest workers, the factory workers, the single mothers juggling 2 jobs, the nurses pulling 12-hour shifts would be the richest people in society. But they're not. Why? Because wealth isn't built by effort alone. It's built by direction. Working hard on the wrong path keeps you stuck. Working smart, with strategy, multiplies your effort and creates leverage. This is why some people can double their net worth while others double their hours at work. The wealthy don't just work harder, they work differently. The awakening moment. Every wealthy person has a turning point, a moment when they realize, if I keep living like this, nothing will change. Maybe it's a crushing debt statement. Maybe it's seeing a friend retire early while they struggle. Maybe it's simply the exhaustion of always being behind. That moment of awakening is painful, but it's also powerful. Because in that moment, excuses fade, awareness sharpens, and the decision is made. I will no longer live like everyone else. Let this chapter be that moment for you. The rich life blueprint versus the broke cycle. Here's the truth. Most people follow a broke cycle: earn, spend, repeat. The rich life blueprint flips the script: earn, keep, grow, enjoy. The broke cycle is reactive. The rich life blueprint is intentional. The broke cycle waits for raises. The rich life blueprint creates income streams. The broke cycle spends first and saves later. The rich life blueprint saves first and spends guilt-free. Which path do you want? Pause and reflect. If I continue living the way I do now, where will I be in 5 years? And if I shift to the rich life blueprint, what could my life look like instead? Breaking free starts with awareness. The first step to breaking free from financial stagnation is not earning more. It's not investing in the stock market. It's not even saving aggressively. The first step is awareness. You must see the patterns that keep you trapped. You must recognize the invisible scripts running in your mind. You must acknowledge that what feels normal might not be working. Once you become aware, you regain power. You can't change what you don't see, but once you see it, you can never unsee it. A challenge for you. Here's a simple but life-changing challenge. Track every dollar you spend for the next 7 days. No judgment, no guilt, just awareness. At the end of the week, review your list. You'll discover where your money silently leaks away, and you'll begin to see the difference between intentional spending and unconscious habits. This exercise is your first step in awakening to your financial reality. Wealth begins with clarity. A YouTube moment. If you're listening to this right now and something inside you is stirring, don't ignore it. Write down one limiting money belief you've carried and commit to letting it go. And hey, if this chapter spoke to you, take a second to share your thoughts in the comments below. What was your biggest financial wake-up call? Also, don't forget to like this video if you're finding value, and subscribe for more chapters of the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Most people stay broke not because they want to, but because they never wake up. They live on autopilot, repeating financial mistakes they don't even recognize. But you're different. You've chosen to awaken. And that, my friend, is the first step toward unlocking wealth and freedom at any age. In the next chapter, we'll design your version of a rich life. Because wealth isn't just about having money, it's about living fully, with purpose, joy, and freedom. Are you ready to start designing your rich life blueprint? Chapter 2. Designing your rich life. Defining wealth beyond money. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. You wake up without an alarm clock, sunlight streaming through your window. You stretch, smile, and realize you don't have to rush anywhere. Your bills are covered. Your calendar is filled only with things you want to do, not things you have to do. Maybe it's travel. Maybe it's time with family. Maybe it's building a passion project. That, my friend, is a rich life. And here's the secret. A rich life is not just about having money. It's about using money to create freedom, meaning, and joy. Most people think wealth equals numbers in a bank account. But numbers alone don't guarantee happiness. We've all heard of lottery winners who spiral into misery, or high-paid professionals who feel trapped and empty. True wealth is about alignment, making sure your money supports the life you actually want, not the life others expect you to live. Pause and ask yourself, if money were no object, what would my days look like? Money as a tool, not the destination. Here's a fundamental truth. Money is not the goal. Money is the tool. Imagine two builders. One has all the tools in the world but no blueprint. The other has a clear plan, even with limited tools. Who do you think builds something worthwhile? Exactly. The one with a plan. Without a blueprint, you'll collect money, but you won't know what to do with it. That's why some people keep chasing more and more, yet never feel satisfied. They're using the hammer without knowing what house they're building. Designing your rich life means deciding what money should do for you. Redefining rich for yourself. Society loves to tell you what rich looks like. Luxury cars, designer clothes, fancy houses. But ask yourself, do those things actually matter to me? Or am I just chasing someone else's dream? Maybe your version of rich is working only 4 hours a day and spending the rest of your time painting. Maybe it's homeschooling your kids and traveling as a family. Maybe it's donating generously to causes close to your heart. The point is this. Being rich doesn't have to look like anyone else's version. The only definition that matters is yours. Take a moment and imagine. If you had unlimited money, what would you keep the same about your life, and what would you change immediately? The danger of someday. Thinking. Most people postpone their rich life with the deadliest phrase, someday. Someday, I'll start traveling. Someday I'll quit this job. Someday I'll start saving. I'll start. But someday is just a mirage. It never arrives. The problem with someday thinking is that it keeps you stuck in waiting mode instead of designing and living your rich life today. Wealthy people flip the script. They ask, how can I create pieces of my rich life now, even before I'm fully financially free? Maybe you can't retire yet, but you can start a passion project on weekends. Maybe you can't buy your dream home, but you can design one room that feels like a sanctuary. It's not about waiting until you're rich. It's about sprinkling richness into your life as you build it. Building your rich life blueprint. Here's a powerful exercise. Write down your top 3 priorities in life. Not what society says, not what your parents expect, but what you value most. Now, compare your spending with your priorities. If you say family time is number 1, but your money goes mostly to things that keep you away from them, there's a misalignment. Your blueprint should match your values. That's the foundation of true wealth. Pause and reflect. What are my top 3 values, and does my financial life reflect them? The joy of guilt-free spending. Designing your rich life doesn't mean living like a monk. In fact, it means spending more on what you love. The trick is cutting ruthlessly on the things that don't matter, so you can spend fearlessly on the things that do. Love traveling? Then unapologetically budget for it. Love books, fitness, or fine dining? Great. Make those part of your rich life. What matters is intentionality. The broke cycle is spend randomly, feel guilty later. The rich life blueprint is spend intentionally, feel joyful always. Vision, not just numbers. Here's a secret most financial gurus miss. If your only goal is to hit a number, say $1 million, you'll get bored, distracted, or burnt out. Why? Because numbers don't inspire. Visions do. Think about it. Would you rather say, I want $1 million, or I want to wake up every morning with the freedom to take my kids to school, work on my business for 4 hours, then spend the afternoon hiking with my spouse? One is just digits. The other is life. Design your rich life vision, and suddenly saving, investing, and earning stop feeling like chores. They become steps toward a future that excites you. A simple exercise for clarity. Here's an exercise I want you to do tonight. Grab a notebook. Write the sentence, my rich life looks like. Then complete it in as much detail as possible. Where do you live? What do you do daily? Who are you with? What do you own or not own? Don't hold back. Let your imagination flow. This exercise will unlock clarity about what money should actually do for you. A YouTube moment. If you're listening right now, I want you to actually pause this audiobook for a minute. Write in the comments. What's one thing your rich life would include? Is it freedom to travel? Starting a business? Helping your family? And while you're at it, hit the like button if this exercise helped you think differently about wealth, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Designing your rich life is about rewriting the script. It's about shifting from chasing random goals to building a life that feels abundant, free, and deeply personal. Remember, money is not the goal. Money is the tool. And when you use it with clarity and intention, it becomes the blueprint for a life you'll never need a vacation from. In the next chapter, we'll tackle the biggest obstacles that block people from building wealth. The myths and lies about money that keep millions stuck. Once you break free from those, the path to your rich life becomes much clearer. Are you ready to start demolishing those myths? Chapter 3. Breaking Money, Myths That Keep You Stuck. If you've ever thought, I'll start saving when I earn more, or investing is too risky for someone like me, you're not alone. These beliefs echo in the minds of millions, and they are myths, dangerous ones. They keep ordinary people stuck, paycheck to paycheck, while others quietly build wealth. Here's the truth. It's not usually lack of intelligence, opportunity, or even discipline that keeps people broke. It's the lies about money they've been told and repeated to themselves for years. Today, We're going to smash those myths one by one so you can see the truth clearly. Because once you stop believing lies, you can finally start building freedom. Pause and ask yourself, which money beliefs have I accepted without ever questioning them? Myth number 1. I need to earn more before I can save. This is the most common excuse for why people don't save or invest. But here's the paradox. People who think they'll save later usually never do. Why? Because lifestyle inflation eats everything you earn. When you make $2,000 a month, you spend $2,000. When you make $5,000, suddenly you need the nicer apartment, the new car, the upgraded phone. And when you make $10,000, somehow it still all disappears. Wealthy people flip the script. They save and invest first, no matter their income. Even if it's just $50 a month in the beginning, it creates the habit and momentum. The amount grows later, but the discipline starts now. So don't wait to earn more. Start small, start now. Myth number 2. Investing is too risky. Many people avoid investing because they imagine the stock market as a casino. They picture gamblers losing everything in a crash. But here's what most don't realize. The real risk isn't investing. It's not investing. Think about inflation. If your money just sits in a bank account earning close to nothing, every year it loses value. That's guaranteed. Investing, on the other hand, grows your money over time, even if there are bumps along the way. The wealthy don't avoid risk. They manage it. They invest in broad, diversified vehicles like index funds. They play the long game. And because of that, their wealth compounds, while fear keeps others stagnant. Pause and ask yourself, am I letting fear keep me from opportunities that could change my life? Myth number 3. Debt is always bad. You've probably heard people say, debt is evil, avoid it at all costs. But here's the nuance. Not all debt is created equal. High-interest credit card debt that funds consumption? Yes, that's destructive. But using a mortgage to buy a property that grows in value? That's leverage. Using a business loan to expand an income stream? That's a strategic move. The wealthy understand the difference between destructive debt and productive debt. They don't fear debt. They use it as a tool when it aligns with their blueprint. Myth number 4. Budgeting means restriction. For many, the word budget feels like punishment. It sounds like cutting back, suffering, and saying no all the time. But here's the reframe. Budgeting isn't restriction. It's freedom. It's telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. A budget is not about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes to what matters most. It allows you to spend guilt-free on the things you love because you're in control. Wealthy people don't see budgets as cages. They see them as maps. Myth number 5. Money changes people. Maybe you've heard this. Money makes people greedy. Money makes people selfish. But here's the truth. Money doesn't change who you are. It amplifies who you already are. If you're generous when you're broke, you'll be more generous when you're rich. If you're irresponsible when you're broke, more money will only magnify that. So the real work isn't fearing money. It's becoming the kind of person who handles money wisely. Myth number 6. I'll figure it out later. This is the silent killer. People delay financial planning because it feels overwhelming. Retirement? Investing? Insurance? I'll deal with it later. But later often turns into never. And every year lost is a year of compounding you can't get back. The wealthy don't wait for perfect timing. They start messy, they start small, but they start early. Remember this, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Why myths are so dangerous. The danger of money myths isn't just that they keep you broke, it's that they feel so reasonable. They sound like common sense. Everyone around you repeats them, so you don't even realize they're holding you back. But once you question them, you see how flimsy they are. And once you replace them with truth, your financial decisions begin to shift. A reframe for your mindset. Here's what I want you to remember. You don't need to earn more to save. You need to save to earn more freedom. Investing isn't gambling. It's wealth on autopilot when done right. Debt isn't always bad. It's a tool, and like any tool, it depends how you use it. Budgets don't restrict, they empower. Money doesn't corrupt, it reveals. Later isn't coming. Now is the time. A simple action step. Here's your challenge for this week. Write down the top 3 money beliefs you've held since childhood. Then ask yourself, where did I learn this? And is it actually true? This exercise will free you from invisible chains you didn't even know were there. A YouTube moment. I want to hear from you. What's the biggest money myth you've believed in the past? Write it in the comments. It might help someone else realize they're not alone. And if this chapter opened your eyes, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights from the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Breaking free from money myths is like wiping fog off a window. Suddenly, you can see the path ahead clearly. The lies lose their power, and the truth sets you free. Now that we've cleared the fog, it's time to take the first real steps on your wealth journey. In the next chapter, we'll explore how the smallest, simplest actions, what I call small wins, create unstoppable momentum toward financial freedom. Because wealth isn't built in giant leaps. It's built one small, intentional step at a time. Chapter 4. The Power of Small Wins. Why Tiny Steps? Create Big Wealth. When most people think about becoming rich, they imagine one giant breakthrough, a big raise, a winning investment, or stumbling onto the next big business idea. But the truth is, wealth rarely arrives in a lightning strike. More often, it's built like a brick wall, one small, steady brick at a time. The power of small wins is one of the most underestimated forces in life. Tiny, almost invisible actions compound into extraordinary results. Just as water dripping on stone can carve valleys over centuries, your small financial choices shape the wealth you'll enjoy tomorrow. Pause and ask yourself, am I chasing big wins while ignoring the small actions I could take today? Why small wins matter more than big leaps. Let's start with this. Big goals often intimidate us. If I tell you to save $1 million, your brain screams, impossible. But if I tell you to save just $5 a day, suddenly it feels doable. Here's the math. $5 a day is $150 a month, nearly $1,800 a year. Invest that for 30 years at a modest return, and you've got well over $100,000. That's the magic of compounding small wins snowball. Small wins matter because they bypass resistance. They feel manageable. They build momentum. And momentum, not motivation, is what carries you forward. The domino effect. Think of wealth as a line of dominoes. You don't need to knock them all down at once. You just need to tip the first one. That first small win creates energy that makes the next one easier, and the next, and the next. For example, automating $50 into savings each month builds confidence. That confidence inspires you to increase it to $100. That habit sparks curiosity about investing. That investment grows, teaching you patience. Before you know it, you've built a system that runs on autopilot, all starting from a single small win. Why we underestimate the small things. Here's the problem. Our brains crave instant gratification. A $5 coffee feels exciting right now. Skipping it feels meaningless. But what we miss is the cumulative effect. Wealth isn't stolen from us in big chunks. It leaks away through small, unconscious decisions. And the opposite is true. Wealth isn't built overnight. It's grown through consistent, intentional habits. Pause and ask yourself, what small financial leaks are draining my future wealth? The psychology of progress. Small wins aren't just about money. They're about psychology. Every time you achieve a small goal, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of reward and motivation. That little spark keeps you going. It's the same reason checking off tasks on a to-do list feels so satisfying. Progress, even tiny progress, fuels persistence. And persistence builds wealth. Stories of small wins. Creating big results. Let me share a story. A young man I once coached wanted to start investing but felt overwhelmed. Instead of waiting until he had thousands, He began with just $25 a week into an index fund. Years later, those insignificant deposits had grown into tens of thousands of dollars without him even noticing the money was gone. That small habit transformed his financial trajectory. Or consider Sarah, a teacher drowning in credit card debt. Instead of focusing on the terrifying total, she celebrated paying off one card with just $300. That small win gave her confidence, and she snowballed the process. 2 years later, she was completely debt-free. Never underestimate the compounding power of small wins. How to create your own small wins. Here are practical ways to start. Automate a tiny transfer. Even $10 a week into savings builds the muscle. Round up your purchases. Apps that invest your spare change make it effortless. Cancel one subscription. Redirect that money toward your financial goals. Increase your retirement contribution by 1%. You won't feel it, but your future will. Read 10 pages a day on money or mindset. Small doses of wisdom accumulate into transformation. Notice something? None of these require radical change, but each creates momentum. The danger of all or nothing thinking. One of the biggest traps people fall into is thinking, if I can't do it perfectly, why bother? They say, I can't save $500 a month, so I won't save at all. Or, I don't understand the stock market, so I won't invest anything. This mindset kills progress. Wealth isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Even imperfect small wins move you forward. Remember, you don't need to be perfect to be rich. You just need to be persistent. Celebrating small wins. One powerful practice is to actually celebrate your progress. When you save your first $100, acknowledge it. When you pay off a small debt, celebrate. When you invest your first $1,000, recognize it as a milestone. Celebration reinforces your belief that you're capable. It turns the process from a burden into a joy. A simple challenge for you. This week, I want you to choose one small win you can commit to. Maybe it's packing lunch one day instead of eating out. Maybe it's setting up an automatic $20 transfer into savings. Maybe it's finally canceling that unused subscription. Whatever it is, make it so small you can't fail. Then build from there. A YouTube moment. Right now, pause and write in the comments. What's one small win you're committing to this week? By sharing it, you make it real, and you might inspire someone else. And if you're enjoying these insights, hit like on this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Here's the big lesson. Small wins create big wealth. It's not the giant leaps that transform your life. It's the quiet, consistent steps you take every day. Think of it like planting seeds. Each small win is a seed in the soil. Alone, it seems tiny, but over time, it grows into a forest of abundance. In the next chapter, we'll confront one of the greatest traps that keeps people broke, the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. You'll discover why relying only on your salary is dangerous, and how to escape the trap by designing cash flow that works for you. Are you ready to step off the hamster wheel? Chapter 5. Escape the Paycheck Trap. Picture this. It's the last week of the month, and you're counting down the days until your next paycheck. The fridge looks emptier than you'd like. The bills are lined up on the counter. You've already cut back on little things, coffee, dinner's out, and yet the money never seems to stretch far enough. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Studies show that over 60% of people live paycheck to paycheck regardless of income. Yes, even high earners. Because the truth is, this trap isn't just about how much you make. It's about how you manage, multiply, and design your cash flow. Pause and ask yourself, if my paycheck stopped tomorrow, how long could I sustain my lifestyle? Why the paycheck trap is so dangerous. At first glance, a paycheck feels secure. It shows up every 2 weeks like clockwork, but the reality is it's a fragile lifeline. Lose the job, lose the paycheck. And if you've built your entire financial life around it, your world can collapse overnight. The wealthy understand something crucial. Relying only on a paycheck is financial quicksand. You can work harder, clock more hours, even snag a raise, but you're still tied to a single stream of income. That's not freedom, that's dependency. The illusion of more income. Here's a harsh truth. Earning more won't automatically free you from the paycheck trap. Why? Because lifestyle inflation grows right alongside your income. You get a raise, and instead of building wealth, you upgrade your car. You move into a bigger apartment. You start eating out more. And suddenly, your new paycheck disappears as fast as the old one. If your spending habits don't change, your situation doesn't change. The wealthy break free not by chasing higher paychecks alone, but by designing smarter systems for managing and multiplying money. Cash flow, the secret weapon. To escape the paycheck trap, you need to master cash flow. Cash flow is simply how money moves in and out of your life. Here's the wealthy blueprint. Money in comes from multiple streams, not just one paycheck. Money out is intentional, not reactive. The gap between money in and money out is directed toward assets, not liabilities. Think of it as a financial pipeline. When cash flows smoothly, you're in control. When it leaks or clogs, you're trapped. Creating breathing room. The first step in breaking free is creating space between what you earn and what you spend. Even $200 of breathing room each month can be the start of freedom. Here's how to build it. Track every dollar. Awareness is power. For 1 month, write down where every dollar goes. Identify leaks, unused subscriptions, impulse buys, fees. Plug the holes. Redirect the gap. Instead of letting the extra vanish, channel it into savings, debt repayment, or investing. Remember, freedom begins with margin. Building a safety net. The second step is establishing an emergency fund. Imagine how different life would feel if you had 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. A car repair? Covered? A sudden layoff? Stressful, yes, but not catastrophic. Most people live on the edge, one emergency away from crisis. Wealthy people build cushions that protect their peace of mind. The power of automation. Here's a secret. Willpower isn't enough to escape the paycheck trap. You can't rely on discipline every month. It's too exhausting. Instead, wealthy people automate their systems. They set up automatic transfers into savings and investments. They automate bill payments. This way, money flows toward their goals before they even see it. It's not about being disciplined, it's about being designed. Pause and reflect. What can I automate in my financial life so progress happens even when I'm not paying attention? Multiple streams of income. Now comes the real key to breaking free. Never relying on just one paycheck. The wealthy build multiple streams of income. It might start small, a side hustle, freelance work, rental income, dividends from investments. But each new stream reduces your dependence on that fragile paycheck. Imagine this. Even if your job disappeared tomorrow, you'd still have money flowing in from other places. That's freedom. A story of escape. Let me tell you about Lisa. She worked a corporate job making $70,000 a year. On paper, she looked successful. But she was always stressed, one paycheck away from falling behind. One day, she decided to change. She started by saving just $100 a month into an emergency fund. She automated it so she wouldn't forget. Once she had $1,000 saved, her confidence grew. Next, she picked up freelance design work online. At first, it brought in just $200 a month, but over time, she grew it into a steady $1,500. That second stream of income gave her breathing room she never had before. Within 3 years, Lisa wasn't just surviving, she was thriving, all because she decided to step out of the paycheck trap. A simple action plan. Here's how you can start today. Build margin. Cut or redirect just 5% of your spending. Automate savings. Even $50 a month, set it and forget it. Start a side stream. Use your skills to create one extra income source. Protect your base. Build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. These steps may seem small, but together, they're your escape hatch. A YouTube moment. If this chapter hit home, drop a comment below. What's one step you'll take this month to escape the paycheck trap? Don't forget to like this video if you're finding value, and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. The paycheck trap feels safe, but it's an illusion. Relying on one income stream is one of the riskiest positions you can be in. But you don't have to stay stuck. By creating breathing room, automating your systems, and building new income streams, you step into a place of control. You stop living at the mercy of one paycheck and start living by design. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into automation, the secret weapon of the wealthy. Because once your financial system runs on autopilot, building wealth becomes almost effortless. Are you ready to learn how to get rich while you sleep? Chapter 6. Automate your financial growth. Imagine this. While you're sleeping, your savings account quietly grows. While you're on vacation, your investments keep compounding. While you're working out, your bills are being paid on time, without effort. That's the magic of automation. It's one of the greatest wealth-building tools of our time. And yet, most people still try to manually manage their money, like juggling a dozen balls in the air. No wonder they drop one. Here's the truth. Discipline fades, motivation comes and goes, but systems are forever. Automation removes human error, forgetfulness, and temptation. It turns wealth building from a stressful chore into an effortless habit. Pause and ask yourself, what if my money could manage itself? Why automation beats discipline? Most people think rich people have incredible self-control. They imagine millionaires carefully budgeting every dollar, never slipping, never overspending. But the truth is, the wealthy don't rely on superhuman discipline. They rely on design. They set up systems that make the right choice automatic. It's not about resisting the urge to spend. It's about making sure savings and investments happen first, automatically. By the time they see what's left, the important stuff is already taken care of. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't debate it every night, it's just automatic. That's how your finances should be. Paying yourself first. The wealthy live by one golden rule: pay yourself first. This means before you pay bills, before you buy groceries, before you splurge on entertainment, you send money to your future. Automation makes this simple. The moment your paycheck arrives, a portion is automatically transferred into savings, investments, or debt repayment. No hesitation, no "I'll do it later." It just happens. Over time, those consistent deposits grow into wealth, almost invisibly. The step-by-step automation system. Here's how you can set up your own system. Direct deposit splits. Ask your employer to split your paycheck so a portion goes directly into savings or investment accounts. Automatic transfers. Schedule transfers to savings right after payday. Even small amounts add up. Auto investments. Use your brokerage or retirement account to automatically invest monthly. Bill pay. Automate recurring bills to avoid late fees and stress. Debt payments. Set automatic payments for loans and credit cards to reduce balances consistently. When all this is in place, your money flows exactly where it should, without you lifting a finger. Removing temptation. One of the biggest advantages of automation is that it removes temptation. If money hits your checking account first, chances are you'll spend it. But if it goes directly into investments before you even see it, spending temptation disappears. It's the classic out of sight, out of mind strategy. And trust me, it works. Pause and reflect. How much money have I lost over the years simply because I didn't automate my savings and investments? The snowball effect. Automation creates momentum. At first, maybe you only save $50 a month. But as your income grows, you increase the automated amount to $100, then $200, then $500. You never feel the pain because you never see the money in your hands. It's rerouted before temptation arrives. This snowball grows silently until one day you look up and realize you've built a fortune without constant effort. A story of invisible growth. Let me tell you about Mark. He was a busy nurse, working long shifts, always tired. Managing money felt overwhelming, so he avoided it. One day, he set up an automated transfer of just $75 a week into an index fund. He forgot about it, literally. Years later, he logged in and was shocked to see over $60,000 sitting there. Mark didn't become rich overnight. He didn't stress over markets or chase trends. He just automated the process, and time did the heavy lifting. Overcoming the fear of losing control. Some people resist automation because they fear losing control. They think, but what if I need that money? Here's the irony. Automation actually gives you more control, not less. Why? Because it ensures your money is serving your priorities instead of slipping away unconsciously. You can always adjust the system as your goals change. But until you automate, you'll always be stuck relying on discipline, and discipline is unreliable. The wealthy way. Set it and forget it. The wealthiest people don't spend hours managing money every day. They set up systems once and then focus on living. Their money works harder than they do. That's the goal, not to micromanage every dollar, but to build a machine that quietly builds wealth in the background while you live your life. A simple challenge for you. Here's your challenge this week. Choose one thing to automate. Maybe it's a transfer into savings. Maybe it's scheduling your bills on autopay. Maybe it's setting up recurring investments. Start small. Build momentum. Once you see how effortless it feels, you'll expand the system naturally. A YouTube moment. Right now, I'd love for you to comment below. What's one thing you'll automate in your financial life starting this week? And if you're finding value in this book, hit like and subscribe to keep unlocking the rich life blueprint. Closing thoughts. Here's the truth. Financial growth doesn't happen because of willpower. It happens because of systems. Automation turns saving and investing into background noise. It frees your mind, reduces stress, and guarantees progress. Remember, every dollar you automate today is a soldier working for you tomorrow. In the next chapter, we'll talk about one of the most joyful aspects of a rich life: spending. Not the random, guilty kind of spending, but spending fearlessly and joyfully on what you truly love. Because a rich life isn't about deprivation, it's about abundance. Are you ready to learn how to spend without guilt? Chapter 7. Spend fearlessly on what you love. When most people hear the words "get rich," they think it means never spending money again. They picture themselves cutting coupons, skipping lattes, and feeling guilty every time they want something. But let me tell you the truth. A rich life is not about restriction, it's about freedom. And part of that freedom means spending money, joyfully and fearlessly, on the things you love most. Pause and ask yourself, what if money was no longer a source of guilt, but a source of joy? The trap of guilty spending. Here's what happens to most people. They buy something, maybe a new jacket, a nice dinner out, or a weekend getaway, and immediately feel guilty. I shouldn't have spent that. I should have saved it. I'm being irresponsible. This guilt creates a toxic cycle. They swing between overspending and over-restricting, never feeling at peace with money. The wealthy think differently. They know the secret is not to stop spending, but to spend intentionally. The rich life spending formula. Here's the formula wealthy people use. Cut ruthlessly on what doesn't matter to you. Spend fearlessly on what does. For example, if you don't care about clothes, cut your fashion spending to the bone. But if travel lights you up, then spend freely on it, because that's what makes your rich life meaningful. This is the difference between random spending and aligned spending. Spending without regret. Imagine buying something and feeling nothing but joy. No guilt, no second guessing. That's possible when you spend in alignment with your values and your rich life blueprint. When every dollar has a purpose, regret disappears. Because you're not wasting, you're investing in happiness. Pause and reflect. What's one thing I spend money on that always brings me joy? And what's one area where I spend but don't even care? The latte myth. You've probably heard gurus say, stop buying $5 lattes if you want to be rich. But here's the thing. Your latte isn't the problem. The problem is when your entire spending is unconscious and unaligned. If a daily coffee genuinely makes you happy, keep it. Just make sure you're cutting the things you don't care about. Wealth isn't about denying yourself. It's about designing yourself. A story of guilt-free joy. Let me tell you about Alex. For years, he felt guilty about money. Every time he bought a book, he'd scold himself, "You should be saving." One day we talked. I asked him, "What lights you up?" Without hesitation, he said, "Books." He loved reading, learning, collecting them. So I said, "What if you cut back on the things you don't care about and gave yourself a guilt-free book budget every month?" He did. He slashed his spending on clothes and gadgets, redirected that money into his book fund, and suddenly he was happier and still saving more. That's the rich life in action. The science of happiness and money research shows that money used intentionally does buy happiness, but only when spent in certain ways. On experiences rather than possessions. On things that align with your values. On giving to others. So don't let anyone tell you money can't buy happiness. It can, if you spend it wisely. The guilt-free spending plan. Here's how to create your own plan. Identify your joys. What are the top 3 things that genuinely make you happy? Cut the rest. Reduce or eliminate spending on things you don't care about. Allocate a fund. Set aside money every month for guilt-free spending on your joys. Celebrate it. When you spend from this fund, enjoy it fully. This way, you stop feeling deprived and start feeling abundant. Why this works. This system works because it removes the endless tug-of-war between saving and spending. You no longer feel guilty because you know your spending is intentional and your savings are automated. Freedom isn't about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes to what matters. A challenge for you. This week, I want you to make a list of your top 3 joys, the things you'd happily spend on forever. Then, I want you to pick one area of spending that doesn't matter to you and cut it. Redirect that money toward your joy fund. Feel the difference. A YouTube moment. Drop a comment right now. What's one thing you'd love to spend guilt-free on every month? And if this chapter gave you a new perspective on money, hit like and subscribe to keep following along with the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Here's the truth. You don't have to choose between being rich and being happy. A rich life is about both. By cutting ruthlessly on what doesn't matter and spending fearlessly on what does, you unlock joy, freedom, and abundance. In the next chapter, we'll face a topic that scares many people: debt. But I'll show you how the wealthy use debt as a tool, not a trap. Once you understand the difference, you'll never fear debt again. Are you ready to master debt instead of being mastered by it? Chapter 8. Mastering Debt and Credit the Smart Way. For many people, debt feels like a dark cloud hanging over their heads. The moment they hear the word, they feel shame, stress, or even fear. Maybe you've felt that weight yourself, the heavy sigh when you open a credit card bill, the dread of student loan balances, the quiet thought, "Will I ever get out of this?" Here's the truth. Debt isn't always the villain. In fact, when used wisely, debt can be one of the most powerful tools for building wealth. The key is knowing the difference between debt that drains you and debt that empowers you. Pause and ask yourself, am I letting debt control me? Or am I learning how to control it? The 2 kinds of debt. Think of debt like fire. Fire can burn your house down, or it can heat your home, cook your food, and bring comfort. The difference lies in how you manage it. Destructive debt. High-interest debt, like credit cards used for consumption, is dangerous. It grows faster than most investments and traps you in a cycle of minimum payments. Productive debt. Debt used strategically, like a mortgage on a home, a loan for education that increases your earning power, or financing to grow a business, can accelerate your path to wealth. The wealthy don't fear debt, they respect it, and they use it carefully as a lever. Escaping the destructive debt cycle. Let's start with the tough stuff. Destructive debt. Credit card companies are masters at keeping people trapped. They tempt you with rewards, then bury you with interest rates of 18%, 22%, even 29%. Paying the minimum each month feels like progress, but it's not. Most of your payment just goes to interest, not the balance. To break free, you need a plan. List every debt. Write down the balance, interest rate, and minimum payment. Pick a strategy. Debt. Snowball. Pay off the smallest balance first to build momentum. Debt avalanche. Pay off the highest interest rate first to save the most money. Automate payments. Never rely on memory. Automate minimums, then stack extra money on your chosen target debt. Celebrate small wins. Every debt you eliminate is a victory. This process isn't quick, but it's liberating. Each step chips away at the weight on your shoulders. The wealthy use credit differently. While many people drown in credit card debt, wealthy people often use credit to their advantage. How? Credit as a tool for cash flow. They use credit cards for convenience and rewards, but pay the balance in full every month. This way they enjoy perks without paying interest. Building strong credit scores. They understand that a higher credit score means lower interest rates, cheaper loans, and better financial opportunities. Leverage. They know when borrowing can be strategic, for example, using low-interest financing to purchase an asset that grows faster than the cost of the loan. It's not about avoiding credit, it's about mastering it. A story of debt transformation. Consider Maria. She had $12,000 in credit card debt and felt trapped. For years, she paid only the minimum, watching the balance barely move. One day, she changed her approach. She listed every debt, automated her minimum payments, and used the avalanche method to attack the highest interest card first. She also picked up a weekend side hustle, dedicating all the extra income to debt. Within 18 months, she was debt-free. But she didn't stop there. She kept the same payments flowing, only now they went into investments. 5 years later, Maria had over $50,000 saved. Her greatest burden became her greatest launchpad. Protecting yourself from future debt traps. Escaping debt once is powerful, but staying out of destructive debt is even more important. Here's how. Build an emergency fund. Without it, you'll always fall back on credit cards when surprises hit. Automate savings. Protect yourself before temptation strikes. Use credit consciously. Ask, will this purchase create stress or joy in my life? If it's stress, skip it. Delay gratification. If you want something, wait 30 days before buying. Often, the urge fades. Wealthy people avoid debt traps not because they earn more, but because they play offense and defense at the same time. Productive debt, your wealth lever. Now let's talk about the other side. Productive debt. A mortgage can build equity as your property value grows. Student loans, when chosen wisely, can increase your lifetime earning power. Business loans, used strategically, can multiply income. The wealthy don't fear debt, they calculate. They ask, will this debt create more value than it costs? If the answer is yes, they use it as leverage. The psychology of mastery. Here's the biggest shift. Debt mastery isn't just about numbers, it's about mindset. Most people feel powerless against debt. They see it as a mountain they can't climb. But once you take control by facing the numbers, creating a plan, and making progress, something shifts inside you. You realize, I'm in charge. Debt doesn't own me. That confidence changes how you approach every financial decision. A challenge for you. This week, I want you to do one thing. List every debt you have. Don't hide from it. Don't sugarcoat it. Just write the numbers down. Then choose your strategy, snowball or avalanche, and commit to one extra payment this month. That's your first step toward mastery. A YouTube moment. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below. Do you prefer the snowball method or the avalanche method for tackling debt? Why? And if this chapter gave you clarity, hit like and subscribe to keep following along with the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Debt can be a prison or a powerful tool. The difference lies in your approach. Destructive debt drains you. Productive debt empowers you. By facing your debts head-on, building a strategy, and shifting your mindset, you step into mastery. You stop being controlled by money and start using it as a tool for freedom. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the heart of wealth building, investing. Don't worry, we'll keep it simple, clear, and approachable. Because investing isn't just for Wall Street, it's for anyone who wants to unlock the rich life. Are you ready to make your money grow while you sleep? Chapter 9. Building Your Wealth Engine, Investing Made Simple. When most people hear the word investing, their eyes glaze over. They imagine stock tickers flashing across a TV screen, complex graphs, and financial jargon only Wall Street insiders can understand. And so, they tell themselves, investing isn't for me, it's too complicated, it's too risky. But here's the truth. Investing doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the wealthiest people often use the simplest strategies. Investing isn't about chasing the hottest stock or timing the market. It's about building a system, a wealth engine that works for you day and night for years to come. Pause and ask yourself, what would my life look like if my money worked harder than I do? Why investing matters. Let's start with why investing is essential. Saving money is good, but saving alone won't make you rich. Why? Because inflation quietly erodes your money every year. Think about it. If you keep $10,000 under your mattress, 10 years from now, it won't buy as much as it does today. But if you invest that money wisely, it grows, not just keeping up with inflation, but beating it. Investing is how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth. The power of compounding. Here's the secret sauce. Compounding. Albert Einstein famously called it the eighth wonder of the world. Here's how it works. When you invest, your money earns returns. Then those returns earn returns. Over time, the snowball grows bigger and faster. For example, invest $200 a month at an average 8% return. In 10 years, you'll have about $36,000. In 20 years, over $118,000. In 30 years, nearly $300,000. All from just $200 a month. That's the magic of compounding. The sooner you start, the greater the payoff. Keep it simple. Index funds. Here's where most people get overwhelmed. They think they need to pick the right stocks, follow the news, or study the markets every day. But the wealthy know, you don't have to play that game. One of the simplest and most effective strategies is investing in index funds. An index fund is like a basket of hundreds of companies, so instead of betting on one, you own a slice of them all. It's diversified, low cost, and requires almost no effort. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men alive, has said that most people should simply invest in index funds and hold them long term. If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for us. Stocks, bonds, and beyond. To keep it simple, think of investing in three main categories. Stocks, ownership in companies. Higher risk, higher reward. Bonds, loans to governments or companies. Lower risk, lower reward. Real estate, property that can provide income and growth. A balanced portfolio combines these in a way that matches your goals and risk tolerance. Pause and reflect. Do I want growth, stability, or a balance of both? Long-term versus short-term thinking. Here's a critical mindset shift. Investing is a long-term game. The stock market goes up and down in the short run. It can be scary. But over decades, the trend is clear. It goes up. If you panic and pull your money out during every dip, you'll sabotage yourself. Wealthy people think in decades, not days. They stay calm when others panic. That patience is what builds fortunes. Avoiding common investing mistakes. Most people make the same mistakes when they invest. chasing hot tips, buying whatever's trendy, timing the market, thinking they can predict highs and lows, overtrading, constantly buying and selling, ignoring fees, not realizing high fees eat away at returns. The wealthy avoid these traps by keeping it simple. They invest consistently, ignore the noise, and let compounding do the heavy lifting. A story of quiet wealth. Consider Tom, a teacher. He never earned more than $50,000 a year. But early in his career, he started investing $300 a month into index funds. He didn't chase trends, didn't panic during downturns, and didn't try to time the market. Decades later, Tom retired comfortably with over $1 million in his portfolio. Not because of luck, but because of patience and consistency. Wealth isn't about getting rich quick. It's about getting rich for sure. Getting started without fear. If you've never invested before, it can feel intimidating. But here's how to start. Open an account. A brokerage account, retirement account, or both. Choose a fund. A simple index fund or target date fund is perfect for beginners. Automate contributions. Set up automatic investments every month. Stay the course. Commit to holding long-term, no matter the short-term noise. Start small. Even $50 a month makes a difference when compounded over time. A challenge for you. This week, I want you to take one step toward investing. If you already invest, increase your contribution by 1%. If you don't, open an account or research a simple index fund. The key is to start not someday, but today. A YouTube moment. I'd love to hear from you. Are you already investing? If so, what's your favorite strategy? If not, what's been holding you back? Share in the comments. You might encourage someone else to start. And if this chapter gave you clarity, hit like and subscribe to keep learning how to unlock the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Investing isn't about complexity or luck. It's about simplicity, consistency, and patience. By building your wealth engine with smart, automated investments, you create a future where money works harder than you do. In the next chapter, we'll explore the mindset required to stay the course. The psychology of long-term wealth. Because knowing how to invest is one thing. Sticking with it when fear and doubt creep in, that's where the real test begins. Are you ready to master the mindset of wealth? Chapter 10. The psychology of long-term wealth. When it comes to money, the numbers are the easy part. Saving, investing, compounding. All of these can be explained with charts and calculators. But here's the real challenge: your emotions. Markets rise and fall. Unexpected bills show up. Friends brag about hot stock tips. Fear whispers in your ear, "Sell before you lose it all." Greed shouts, "Buy more before it's too late." The truth is, wealth is built in the mind before it ever shows up in the bank. If you can master your psychology, you can master your money. Pause and ask yourself, am I in control of my money decisions? Or are my emotions in control of me? Why patience pays more than intelligence. Think about the most successful investors in history. Were they always the smartest in the room? Not necessarily, but they were almost always the most patient. Markets reward discipline. The impatient investor panics during downturns and sells at a loss. The patient investor holds steady and watches their wealth grow over decades. Remember, investing isn't about timing the market. It's about time in the market. The roller coaster of emotions. Here's what usually happens. When the market is high, people get excited. They buy more because everyone else is. When the market crashes, people get scared. They sell because everyone else is. This emotional roller coaster destroys wealth. You end up buying high and selling low, the exact opposite of what works. Wealthy people ride the roller coaster differently. They expect ups and downs, and they don't let fear or greed drive their decisions. The power of perspective. One way to master your psychology is to zoom out. Look at the stock market over a single year, and you'll see volatility. Look at it over 30 years, and you'll see growth. It's like looking at waves on the beach. Up close, the waves crash and pull back. Step back, and you see the tide rising steadily. That's what long-term wealth looks like. Pause and reflect. Am I focusing on the crashing waves or the rising tide? Guarding against emotional decisions. Here are strategies to protect yourself from emotional money mistakes. Automate investments. When money flows in automatically, you remove the temptation to time the market. Ignore the noise. Financial news thrives on panic and hype. Tune it out. Focus on your plan. Write down your long-term goals. When fear hits, read them again. Stay diversified. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification calms nerves. Discipline beats drama. Every time. Stories of patience rewarded. Let me share a story. In 2008, the global financial crisis sent markets crashing. Many investors panicked and sold everything. But those who stayed invested? Within a few years, the market had recovered and then soared to new highs. Take Emily, a nurse who kept contributing to her 401k during the crash. Her co-workers mocked her, saying she was throwing money away. Fast forward a decade, her portfolio had doubled, while those who pulled out had missed the rebound. Her secret wasn't brilliance, it was patience. The danger of comparison. Another trap that sabotages psychology is comparison. You see friends bragging about crypto gains or neighbors buying bigger houses, and you feel behind. But here's the truth. Wealth isn't a race. Someone else's highlight reel doesn't reflect their full story. They may look rich, but behind the scenes, they may be drowning in debt. Focus on your journey. Your rich life blueprint isn't supposed to look like anyone else's. Building emotional resilience. Wealthy people train their emotions like athletes train their bodies. They learn to sit with discomfort. They remind themselves that short-term pain leads to long-term gain. Every time you resist the urge to sell in a panic or overspend to keep up with others, you're building resilience. Over time, this emotional muscle becomes one of your greatest assets. A daily practice for wealth psychology. Here's a simple exercise. Whenever you feel financial fear or greed, pause and write down your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this based on facts or feelings? Will this matter in 5 years? What would my future self thank me for doing? This practice creates distance between your emotions and your actions. A key to long-term success. A challenge for you. This week, commit to one action that strengthens your wealth psychology. Maybe it's ignoring the news for a week. Maybe it's writing down your long-term plan. Maybe it's practicing gratitude for what you already have. Small mental shifts create lasting financial results. A YouTube moment. I'd love to hear from you. What's the biggest money decision you've made because of emotions, and what did you learn from it? Share your story in the comments. And if this chapter resonated, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more wisdom from the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Here's the truth. The battle for wealth is won or lost in the mind. If you can master patience, resist fear and greed, and stay focused on the long game, your success is almost inevitable. In the next chapter, we'll move from mindset to action by exploring how to create multiple streams of income. Because while investing grows your wealth, diversifying your income protects and expands it. Are you ready to break free from the 9-to-5 reliance and build true financial freedom? Chapter 11. Multiple streams of income. Freedom. Beyond the 9-to-5. Imagine this. You wake up one morning and realize your primary job is gone. Maybe the company downsized. Maybe the industry changed. Maybe your boss decided to replace you with software. For most people, that would mean panic. Bills would pile up, stress would skyrocket. Because for most people, one job equals their only source of income. Cut that off, and everything collapses. Now picture a different scenario. You lose your job, yes, but your rental property is still paying you. Your online business is still bringing in sales. Your investments are still compounding. You don't panic because your financial life doesn't depend on one fragile paycheck. That's the power of multiple streams of income. It's not about hustling endlessly, it's about creating resilience, freedom, and options. Pause and ask yourself, right now, how many sources of income flow into my life? Why one stream is risky? For decades, society taught us the formula. Go to school, get a job, work 40 years, retire. That formula might have worked in the past, but not anymore. Today, industries change overnight. Companies fold, jobs disappear. Depending on one paycheck is like balancing on one leg. You might stay steady for a while, but one unexpected push and you fall. Wealthy people understand that true security doesn't come from one paycheck. It comes from having many streams of money flowing toward you, even if one dries up. The three types of income. To simplify, let's break income down into three categories. Active income, money you earn by trading time for money. Jobs, freelancing, consulting. Semi-passive income, money that requires some effort upfront, then continues to flow with minimal work. Examples: online businesses, royalties, affiliate marketing. Passive income, money that flows whether you work or not. Dividends, rental income, interest, fully automated businesses. The goal is to build more semi-passive and passive streams over time, so you're not fully dependent on active income. The myth of overnight success. Now, let's clear something up. Building multiple streams of income isn't about quitting your job tomorrow and becoming a millionaire by Friday. It's about gradually stacking streams, one at a time, until your financial life feels strong and abundant. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Small streams add up. Many people dismiss small streams because they think, what's the point of making just $200 a month? But here's the truth. Small streams compound. Imagine you create 3 small side streams, each earning $200 a month. That's $600 extra. Invested monthly, that could grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. And here's the kicker. One stream often leads to another. Skills compound. Opportunities grow. Suddenly, $200 streams turn into $2,000 streams. Real-life examples of extra streams. Freelance skills. Writing, design, coding, or tutoring online. Digital products. Creating ebooks, courses, or templates. Content creation. YouTube, podcasts, blogs that generate ad revenue or sponsorships. Investments. Dividends from stocks, interest from bonds, rental property cash flow. Small businesses. An online shop, consulting service, or niche product? You don't have to do all of them. Start with one that excites you. Pause and reflect. What skill, passion, or resource could I turn into a small income stream? A story of stacking streams. Take Daniel, a high school teacher. He loved his job but hated the financial stress. So he started small tutoring students online for $150 a month. That led to creating a digital study guide, which brought in $300 a month. Then he started a YouTube channel about education, which grew into $500 in ad revenue. Within 2 years, Daniel had 3 extra streams adding $950 a month to his income. It didn't make him rich overnight, but it gave him breathing room, freedom, and confidence. That's how wealth begins, step by step, stream by stream. Building streams that align with you. Here's a key point. Not every income stream is for everyone. Some love real estate, others love online businesses, others prefer investing. The wealthy don't chase every opportunity. They focus on streams that align with their skills, passions, and values. That way, building them feels exciting, not exhausting. The balance between hustle and rest. Yes, building multiple streams takes effort, but it doesn't mean working yourself to exhaustion. It means planting seeds that grow over time. Think of it like gardening. You don't plant a seed today and expect fruit tomorrow. You water it, nurture it, give it time, and eventually, it feeds you. A simple action plan. Here's how to get started. Identify one stream. Choose something small and manageable. Commit to consistency. Work on it weekly, even if just a few hours. Automate where possible. Use tools and systems to make it sustainable. Reinvest profits. Grow your stream instead of spending everything. Over time, one stream becomes two, two becomes three, and suddenly, you're no longer dependent on a single paycheck. A YouTube moment. Right now, comment below. If you could add one new stream of income to your life, what would it be? And don't forget, hit like if this chapter inspired you, and subscribe to keep unlocking more strategies from the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Here's the truth. Freedom doesn't come from one paycheck. It comes from building multiple streams of income that flow together like rivers into an ocean. The wealthy don't put all their trust in one source. They design lives where money flows from many directions, creating resilience, security, and freedom. In the next chapter, we'll dive into one of the most powerful wealth skills of all, negotiation. Because sometimes, the fastest way to grow your income isn't building something new. It's simply asking for more. Are you ready to learn how to negotiate like the wealthy? Chapter 12. Negotiating your way to riches. There's a skill that can increase your income faster than almost anything else. It doesn't require a degree. It doesn't require years of training. It doesn't even require money to get started. That skill is negotiation. Most people fear negotiation. They picture it as confrontational, awkward, even greedy. But the truth is, negotiation is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools you can learn. Every raise you secure, every deal you strike, every expense you lower adds directly to your bottom line. Pause and ask yourself, when was the last time I asked for more? Why negotiation matters? Think about this. If you negotiate a $5,000 raise, that's not just $5,000 one time. It's $5,000 this year, plus every year after, plus bigger raises in the future because your base salary is higher. Over a career, that one conversation could mean hundreds of thousands of dollars. The wealthy know this. They don't settle for whatever's offered, they negotiate. And because they negotiate, they grow faster. The mindset shift. First, let's reframe what negotiation really is. It's not begging. It's not manipulation. It's not about winning while the other person loses. Negotiation is about value exchange. It's showing the other side why paying you more, giving you better terms, or lowering a price makes sense for both of you. It's collaboration, not conflict. Common fears about negotiation. Maybe you've told yourself, I don't want to seem greedy. What if they say no? I'm not good at confrontation. These fears are normal. But here's the truth. Employers, clients, and even businesses expect negotiation. They budget for it. And often, they respect you more for asking. The worst outcome? They say no, and you're exactly where you started. The best outcome? You make thousands more. Isn't that worth the ask? The art of preparation. Great negotiators don't wing it. They prepare. Here's how. Know your value. List your achievements, results, and contributions. Numbers talk. If you increased sales, improved efficiency, or saved money for your company, write it down. Know the market. Research salaries, industry standards, or competitor prices. Facts strengthen your case. Know your ask. Be clear about what you want. A raise, a discount, better terms. Clarity builds confidence. Preparation transforms negotiation from scary to strategic. Scripts that work. Here are some simple negotiation lines you can adapt. For a raise. I've really enjoyed contributing to specific results. Based on the value I've delivered and market research, I'd like to discuss adjusting my compensation to reflect that. For freelance business, clients typically invest X amount for this service, and given the quality and results I provide, I believe that's a fair rate. For lowering expenses, I've been a loyal customer for years. Are there any promotions or adjustments you can offer to make this more competitive? You don't need fancy words, just confidence and clarity. A story of negotiation power. Take Rachel, a marketing professional. For years, she avoided asking for raises, terrified of rejection. Then, one year, she decided to try. She prepared a list of her results, rehearsed her script, and asked for a raise. Her boss didn't just give her the 10% she requested, he gave her 15% plus a promotion. Why? Because she asked. That one conversation added over $20,000 to her annual income and set her on a higher trajectory for her entire career. Everyday negotiations. Negotiation isn't just for salaries. You can negotiate rent with your landlord, interest rates with your bank, prices on services, even medical bills. Every dollar saved is a dollar earned. Wealthy people see negotiation everywhere. Not because they're stingy, but because they understand value. Pause and reflect. Where in my life could I ask for better terms, a better price, or more income? Building confidence. The more you negotiate, the easier it gets. Start small. Negotiate a discount on a subscription. Ask for a lower rate on your internet bill. Practice saying the words out loud. Every small win builds confidence for bigger ones. Overcoming rejection. Yes, sometimes you'll hear no. That's okay. No doesn't mean failure. Often it means not right now. When you handle rejection with grace, you keep doors open. You might be surprised how often a no turns into a yes later because you planted the seed. A challenge for you. This week, I challenge you to negotiate something. It could be asking your boss for a raise, asking a client for a higher rate, or even negotiating a bill. Start small if you need to, but start. A YouTube moment. Drop a comment. What's the best thing you've ever negotiated or the scariest negotiation you want to try? And don't forget, hit like if this chapter gave you confidence, and subscribe to learn the next steps in the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Negotiation isn't about greed. It's about respect for your value, your time, and your future. Every time you negotiate, you set a new standard for yourself. The wealthy don't wait for someone else to decide their worth. They claim it. And now, so can you. In the next chapter, we'll shift gears to protection. Because it's not enough to earn and grow your wealth, you also need to protect it. We'll talk about insurance, safety nets, and strategies that give you peace of mind no matter what life throws your way. Are you ready to protect the wealth you're building? Chapter 13. Protecting your wealth. Insurance, safety nets, and smart planning. Building wealth is exciting. Watching your savings grow, your investments compound, and your income streams expand feels empowering. But here's a truth most people overlook. It's not enough to build wealth. You have to protect it. Think about it. What good is years of saving if one medical emergency wipes it all out? What's the point of growing investments if a single accident forces you into debt? Wealth isn't just about growth, it's about resilience. The wealthy don't only play offense, they play defense too. Pause and ask yourself, if life threw me a financial curveball tomorrow, how prepared would I be? Why protection matters. Life is unpredictable. Jobs end. Cars break down. Illnesses happen. And if you don't have safeguards in place, every step forward can be erased by one unexpected event. Wealthy people sleep well at night not because bad things don't happen to them, but because they've built safety nets. They know their wealth is shielded, their family is protected, and their future is secure. The 3 pillars of protection. Let's break it down into 3 pillars. Emergency fund. Cash set aside for life's surprises. Insurance. A financial shield against risks you can't afford to handle alone. Smart planning. Systems like wills, trusts, and legal structures that protect your wealth for the long term. When these 3 work together, you create peace of mind. Building your emergency fund. Your emergency fund is your first line of defense. It's money you don't touch, except in a true emergency. Experts often recommend 3 to 6 months of living expenses. If that feels impossible right now, start small. Even $500 or $1,000 can stop you from relying on credit cards in a crisis. The key is to keep it accessible but separate, like in a high-yield savings account, not mixed in with your spending money. Pause and reflect. If I had an unexpected $1,000 expense tomorrow, where would the money come from? Insurance? Your financial armor. Nobody likes paying for insurance. It feels like throwing money away until you need it. Then it becomes priceless. Here are the core types of insurance to consider. Health insurance. Medical bills are the #1 cause of bankruptcy. This one is non-negotiable. Auto insurance. Not just legally required, but crucial for protection. Home or renters. Insurance. Protects your property and liability. Life insurance. If you have dependents, this ensures they're cared for if something happens to you. Disability insurance. Protects your income if you can't work due to illness or injury. Wealthy people don't see insurance as wasted money. They see it as protection against catastrophic loss. Smart planning. Beyond yourself. The third pillar is planning for the future. Beyond emergencies. Beyond insurance. Wills and trusts. Decide where your assets go, instead of leaving it to the courts. Beneficiaries. Keep accounts updated so your money flows smoothly to loved ones. Estate planning. Even if you're not rich, planning ensures your family avoids unnecessary stress and taxes. Smart planning isn't about expecting the worst, it's about giving yourself and your loved ones clarity and security. A story of protection done right. Consider David and Anna. Both worked hard and built savings, but when Anna was diagnosed with a serious illness, their medical bills skyrocketed. The only reason they didn't go bankrupt was because they had health insurance and an emergency fund. Years later, when David passed unexpectedly, his life insurance allowed Anna to pay off their home and continue living comfortably. They weren't the richest couple, but they were wise enough to protect what they had. The peace of mind factor. Here's something rarely discussed in personal finance. Peace of mind has value. When you know you're protected, you live differently. You take opportunities without fear. You sleep soundly. Wealth isn't just numbers, it's freedom from worry. Balancing protection and growth. Some people overinsure, they're so focused on safety that they never grow. Others underinsure, gambling with their future. The wealthy find balance. Protect what you can't afford to lose. Then, confidently grow the rest. A simple action plan. Here's how to protect your wealth starting this week. Check your emergency fund. Do you have at least $500 saved? If not, start there. Review insurance. Make sure you're covered in the essentials. Update beneficiaries. Check your accounts and policies. Create or update a will. Even a simple one is better than none. Small steps today prevent massive stress tomorrow. A YouTube moment. Comment below. What's one step you'll take this month to protect your wealth emergency fund, insurance, or planning? And if this chapter gave you peace of mind, hit like and subscribe for more chapters of the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Building wealth is exciting, but protecting it is essential. Without protection, every gain is fragile. With it, every gain is secure. The wealthy don't gamble their future. They shield it, defend it, and prepare for the unexpected. And you can do the same. In the next chapter, we'll zoom out even further. Because wealth isn't just about money, it's about relationships, health, and purpose. True richness goes beyond the bank account. Are you ready to explore the rich life beyond money? Chapter 14. The Rich Life Beyond Money. Relationships, health, and purpose. Money can buy freedom. Money can buy choices. But here's the truth. Money alone will never make you feel rich. Think about it. What good is a fat bank account if your health is failing? What good is a dream house if the people inside it don't feel connected? What good is a luxurious lifestyle if it feels empty of meaning? A truly rich life is built on 3 pillars beyond money: relationships, health, and purpose. Wealth gives you the resources, but these give you fulfillment. Pause and ask yourself, if I had all the money in the world, what would actually make me feel alive? Relationships, the wealth of connection. At the end of life, no one says, I wish I had worked more hours, or I wish I had bought more stuff. What they talk about is love, connection, and memories. Strong relationships are the ultimate currency. They enrich every experience. Dinner tastes better with laughter at the table. Success feels sweeter when shared. Even struggles feel lighter when you have support. The wealthy know this. They invest time, not just money, into relationships, family, friends, mentors, communities, tours. They don't wait until they're successful to nurture connection. They make it part of their rich life blueprint now. Pause and reflect. Who are the 5 people who matter most to me? And am I giving them my best time and energy? Health, the foundation of wealth. Here's a hard truth. Without health, wealth is meaningless. You can have millions in the bank, but if you're too sick, tired, or stressed to enjoy life, what's the point? Your body and mind are your greatest assets. Protecting them is as important as protecting your investments. That means eating to fuel energy, not just to fill hunger. Moving daily exercise isn't punishment, it's insurance for your future self. Resting deeply, because sleep is the silent multiplier of health. Managing stress through mindfulness, hobbies, and balance. Wealthy people know that health isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. They don't wait until burnout to prioritize it. They design their schedules, habits, and lifestyles around sustaining energy. Purpose. The compass of a rich life. Money gives you freedom, but purpose gives you direction. Without purpose, wealth feels hollow. Purpose doesn't have to mean saving the world. It might mean raising children with love, creating art that inspires, helping clients achieve dreams, supporting causes you believe in. What matters is that your money fuels a life aligned with your purpose. That alignment makes every dollar more meaningful. Pause and reflect. What am I building wealth for? What impact do I want to create? Stories of true richness. Let me share a story. Jonathan, a corporate executive, spent decades chasing promotions. By the time he hit his 50s, he had the house, the cars, the investments. But he also had failing health, a distant marriage, and adult children who barely spoke to him. Meanwhile, his brother Mark, a teacher, earned modestly but invested deeply in his family, friendships, and health. He lived with less luxury, but more laughter, connection, and peace. Who was richer? This story reminds us, money matters, but life beyond money matters more. Designing balance in your blueprint. So how do you design a life that balances money with relationships, health, and purpose? Schedule what matters most. If family is important, put them on your calendar first. Don't let work take every slot. Invest in your health. Budget for fitness, nutritious food, and wellness, like you budget for bills. Define your purpose. Write down what lights you up. Align your money goals with that purpose. Wealth is worthless if it costs you the things that truly make you feel alive. Avoiding the empty rich life. Sadly, many people achieve financial success only to feel emptier than before. They sacrificed relationships, ignored their health, and never defined a deeper purpose. The result? Loneliness, stress, and regret. Your blueprint protects you from this by reminding you, wealth is a tool, not the destination. A simple action plan. Here's your challenge this week. Write down the names of 3 people you love most. Schedule time with them this week. Quality time, not distracted time. Do one thing for your health: cook a healthy meal, go for a walk, or prioritize 8 hours of sleep. Write one sentence that defines your purpose right now. Even if it evolves, start with something that inspires you. These are the investments that truly pay off. A YouTube moment. Comment below. Which pillar, relationships, health, or purpose, do you need to focus on most right now? And if this chapter opened your eyes, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more lessons from the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Money can open doors, but it's the people you walk through those doors with, the health that lets you keep walking, and the purpose that gives direction. That's what makes life truly rich. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to pass this richness on. Because wealth isn't just about you, it's about legacy. Teaching others, guiding your family, and creating impact that outlives you. Are you ready to pass the blueprint forward? Chapter 15. Teaching Wealth. Passing the blueprint to others. We've spent this journey talking about building wealth for yourself, designing your rich life, protecting it, and enjoying it fully. But here's the ultimate level of wealth, passing it on. Because true richness isn't just measured by what you accumulate, it's measured by the impact you leave behind. When you teach others, whether it's your children, your family, or your community, you create ripples that last far beyond your lifetime. Pause and ask yourself, who in my life could benefit if I shared what I've learned about money? Breaking generational cycles. For many families, money is a taboo subject. Parents don't talk about it. Kids grow up repeating the same mistakes. Generational poverty, or at least generational struggle, continues unchallenged. But here's the truth. You can break that cycle. When you learn how to manage, grow, and protect money, you can pass on not just dollars, but wisdom. You become the one who changes your family tree. Teaching through example. The best way to teach wealth isn't just with words, it's with actions. Kids don't learn money habits from lectures. They learn by watching. If they see you saving, investing, giving, and spending intentionally, they absorb those lessons silently. Your lifestyle becomes their financial education. So don't just talk about money, model it. Pause and reflect. What financial behaviors am I demonstrating daily to those around me? Conversations that matter. Still, conversations are important, and they don't have to be complicated. You can start with simple lessons. We save first, then spend. We don't buy things just to impress others. Money is a tool, not the goal. Over time, these simple principles shape powerful financial mindsets. With older children or adults, you can go deeper teaching about budgeting, investing, credit, and entrepreneurship. Legacy isn't just money. When people think of legacy, they often think only of inheritance, leaving money behind. But legacy is so much bigger. Legacy is values. It's teaching your children resilience, gratitude, generosity, and wisdom. It's showing them how to use money to create freedom, not chains. Money without wisdom is dangerous. Wisdom without money is incomplete. Together, they create lasting impact. A story of passing the blueprint. Consider Linda, a single mother who grew up in poverty. Determined to break the cycle, she not only worked hard to build savings and investments, but she openly talked to her kids about money. She showed them her budget. She explained how compound interest worked. She modeled generosity by giving to causes they cared about as a family. Years later, her children became adults who were financially literate, independent, and thriving. Linda didn't just change her own life, she changed generations. That's the power of passing on the blueprint. Teaching beyond family. Your impact doesn't have to stop with family. You can teach friends, coworkers, or your community. Share a book. Recommend a podcast. Mentor someone younger. When you lift others financially, you create a ripple effect. Someone you help today might one day help dozens more. That ripple could be your true legacy. Giving as teaching. Another powerful way to teach wealth is through giving. When you give generously, whether it's money, time, or knowledge, you show others what wealth is really for. You teach that being rich isn't about hoarding, it's about contribution. That lesson is more valuable than any inheritance. Pause and ask yourself, how can I model generosity in a way that inspires others? Tools for passing it on. Here are practical tools for teaching and passing wealth. Family meetings. Talk openly about goals, savings, and giving. Books and resources. Share what inspired you. Financial gifts with lessons. Give money tied to learning, like matching your child's savings contributions. Legal planning. Wills, trusts, and structures to ensure your assets are distributed wisely. Teaching wealth is both practical and emotional. It's about skills and stories. The responsibility of wealth. When you build wealth, you hold responsibility, not just to enjoy it, but to steward it wisely and share the lessons. Otherwise, money can vanish within a generation. You've likely heard the phrase, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. It means that wealth is often built by one generation, wasted by the next, and gone by the third. But that only happens if wisdom isn't passed alongside wealth. You can change that story. A challenge for you. This week, I challenge you to share one financial lesson with someone you care about. Maybe it's teaching your child how to save. Maybe it's showing a friend how you budget. Maybe it's simply starting a conversation. One lesson today can ripple for decades. A YouTube moment. Comment below. What financial lesson do you wish someone had taught you earlier in life? And if you found value in this chapter, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the final chapter of the Rich Life Blueprint. Closing thoughts. Building wealth for yourself is powerful. But teaching others? That's legacy. That's immortality. The wealthy don't just leave money, they leave mindsets, lessons, and blueprints. And that's what makes the difference between riches that fade and wealth that lasts for generations. In the next chapter, we'll bring it all together. You'll discover the final steps to take action today. Because your rich life isn't something you wait for. It starts now. Are you ready to step into your rich life today? Chapter 16. Your rich life starts now. Taking action. Today you've made it. You've walked through mindset, money myths, small wins, systems, income streams, protection, purpose, and legacy. You now hold the blueprint to design a life that is not just rich in money, but rich in freedom, joy, and meaning. But let me be clear, knowledge alone won't change your life. Action will. Pause and ask yourself, am I going to let this book be inspiration that fades or transformation that lasts? The trap of waiting. Most people finish a book like this and think, that was great, I'll start someday. But as we've said before, someday is a mirage. It never comes. Never. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You don't need to wait until you make more money or until you feel fully ready. Wealth isn't built in some far-off future. It's built in the choices you make today. The rich life starts now. The first step is always small. Here's the beauty of the blueprint. You don't need giant leaps. You need one small step. Open a savings account. Automate your first $20 transfer. Cancel one subscription. Write down your rich life vision. That's it. Start small. Start now. Because one small step begins the domino effect. The power of momentum. Action creates momentum. The moment you take that first step, your brain shifts from thinking to doing. Suddenly, the rich life feels possible, not because everything changed, but because you changed. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds consistency. And consistency builds wealth. Pause and reflect. What is one action I can take within the next 24 hours to move closer to my rich life? Designing your action plan. Let's simplify everything we've covered into a step-by-step plan. Awaken. Recognize your money patterns and decide to change. Design. Define your rich life vision. Break myths. Replace limiting beliefs with truth. Start small. Create small wins to build momentum. Escape the paycheck trap. Build margin and multiple streams. Automate. Put savings, investments, and bills on autopilot. Spend fearlessly. Align spending with your values. Master debt. Eliminate destructive debt. Leverage productive debt. Invest simply. Use compounding index funds and patience. Think long-term. Manage emotions. Ignore noise. Expand income. Add streams to reduce dependency. Negotiate. Ask for more everywhere. Protect. Build safety nets and plan for the future. Go beyond money. Nurture relationships, health, and purpose. Teach. Pass on lessons and create legacy. Act. Start now, no matter how small. This is your blueprint. Follow it, and your life will change. A story of two futures. Picture two versions of yourself. The first version closes this book, feels inspired, but does nothing. Days turn into months, months into years. Life looks the same. The paycheck trap continues. Regrets pile up. The second version takes action. Imperfect, small, but consistent. Over the years, money grows. Freedom expands. Relationships thrive. Health is prioritized. Purpose is clear. Which version do you want to become? The choice is yours, and it starts today. The rich life isn't about perfection. Don't think you have to get everything right. You'll make mistakes. You'll stumble. That's okay. The rich life isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. Every misstep is a lesson. Every lesson is progress. The only true failure is doing nothing. A challenge for you. Here's your final challenge. Write down your rich life vision in detail. Choose one financial action you'll take within the next 24 hours. Choose one habit you'll commit to for the next 30 days. Do this, and you'll no longer just read about the rich life, you'll live it. A YouTube moment. I want you to take action right now. Comment below. What's the very first step you're committing to after finishing this book? And if this book has inspired you, please like this video, subscribe for more life-changing wisdom, and share it with someone you care about. Because wealth multiplies when we pass it on. Closing thoughts. The rich life isn't just about money, it's about freedom, joy, purpose, and legacy. You now have the blueprint, and the power is in your hands. So don't wait, don't postpone, don't let life slip by. Your rich life starts not tomorrow, not someday, today. Take the step, build the momentum, live the blueprint. Because at the end of your life, you won't regret the risks you took to build freedom. You'll only regret if you never tried. Are you ready? Your rich life awaits.